to a very special broadcast from the Northeast Pod News. Today we're reporting in Lincoln, Nebraska, the capital city in the heart of America.
For the students tuning in today, by the end of this short video, you should be able to identify your state capitol building and a few fun facts about Nebraska. You should also be able to name a few of the capitals of the surrounding states.
We will now go to Michael Hall, reporting live from the Nebraska State Capitol building.
I'm here today to talk about the history and significance of the Nebraska State Capitol building. The original capital of Nebraska was actually located in Omaha, but it was moved to Lincoln in 1867 when Nebraska was admitted to the Union. Capitol buildings were built both in 1867 and 1882, but both fell victim to structural problems. The limestone building behind me today was designed by Bertram Goodhue and constructed between 1922 and 1930. The Nebraska Capitol is the second tallest state house in the U.S., surpassed only by the state capital of Louisiana, and has been nicknamed the Tower of the Plains. The building is home to the only bicameral legislature in the country, and also houses other offices of the government of the state. The building itself is a representation of all Nebraska's traditions and history, dating all the way back to the Native Americans that were here before us. The large square base represents the flat plains of Nebraska, and the vertical tower symbolizes the dreams and aspirations of the pioneers who braved the New West. Part of the main stairway is decorated with bison and inscribed with Native American ritual passages, and much of the artwork inside is full of American Indian symbolism. The building is topped by a large golden dome with a 6-meter sculpture of the sower by Lee Lowry standing on top, and the frieze around the drum depicts thunderbirds, the Native American symbol for rain and life. Together, the dome, the sower, and the drum represent the sun, rain, and agriculture, traditionally a large part of Nebraskan culture. Overall, the Nebraska State Capitol is a great representation of the state's history and a wonderful example of innovative capital design. For a look at some other interesting state capitals in the area, we'll go back to Ashton and Tiffany.
As you can see, Lincoln's capital is a very important part of the city's history. Many other capitol buildings across the United States are similar in structure and have just as much of importance to their cities as Lincoln's capital has to Nebraska.
An in-depth look at what it is like to live in Lincoln, Nebraska. Amy Wente sat down with Bo Wagner, a Lincoln native, to hear all about the area and about what he enjoys about living in this capital city.
So Bo, can you tell me what it's like living in Lincoln and the day-to-day challenges you face with this climate?
Well, Amy, living in Nebraska, and especially Lincoln, certainly has its challenges, especially when it comes to weather. It can be hot one day and cold the next. I know as a college commuter, when I walk to campus, the best thing to do is just to dress in layers.
So what do you love most about living in the city of Lincoln?
Well, Amy, living in Lincoln certainly has provided a lot of opportunities to do a lot of fun stuff, especially all year long. For instance, in the summertime, it's great to go to the park and catch a baseball game. In the fall, I love going to Memorial Stadium and watching the Huskers. In the wintertime, Pioneers Park has hills and amazing sledding that, can provide hours of fun. And in the springtime, I love to go to the local golf courses and tee off.
Having lived in Lincoln your whole life, what kind of adventures have you encountered trucking through Nebraska?
Well, Amy, having been a Lincoln resident my whole life, I've been through Nebraska and I've seen the sights, especially Chimney Rock. It was such a cool place. Chimney Rock, as I recall, was a geological formation that's nearly 300 feet tall and was a symbol for pioneers coming west on the Oregon Trail.
How does the geography of Nebraska compare to the other states you have visited?
Amy, I've been to several other states, especially Colorado. The geography in that state differs dramatically with Nebraska. One thing I found particularly amazing was the mountains. They were so tall and rocky. They had forest on one side and desert on the other. Quite a different experience than living in Nebraska my whole life.
Thanks again, Bo, for taking the time to meet with us today.
Thank you, Bo and Amy, for giving us a better idea of what life in Lincoln is really like.
Here's a few questions to review what we've discussed. so much for joining us for this broadcast from the Northeast Pod News.
Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.